Brown Book Series presents Raw Romance Readers and Writers Experience. Save the date, October 28th and 29th, 2022. Brown Book Series presents Raw Romance Readers and Writers Experience, October 28th and 29th, 2022 at the Westin Old Town, Alexandria, featuring some of your favorite romance authors: Brenda Jackson, Beverly Jenkins, Iris Boland, Deborah Fletcher Mello, and so much more. The Raw Experience will include book signings, meet and greet, photo ops, vendors, shopping, surprise celebrity guests, and live performances. Registration is wide open at brownbookseries.com. Save the date, October 28th and 29th, 2022. Brown Book Series presents RAAW Raw Experience.
Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you, it's for us. The fantasies, no one can judge us, no one can judge us. This is for us. Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you.
Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Shay Baby, and welcome to the Brown Book Series. Tonight's episode is, with this young lady. When I tell y'all, she is just like super uber sweet, just like super uber sweet, and I just had a joy already talking to her. So I'm telling y'all, we got our wine, and we ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, please bringing. My wine already kicked in. Bring it to the stage. Amazon's #1 best-selling author, Miss, and she's a newcomer to the scene, y'all, and already got #1. So we already know it's gonna be some great things coming from this young lady. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Addie Woolridge. Hi, Addie.
Hi.
How are you, darling?
Well, I'm much better now that I have my glass of wine and I'm talking to you.
Thank you. Yes, we have to have our wine, girl, because sometimes things just get a little crazy over here at the Brown Book Series, honey.
You got to be prepared. Like I said before we started, I was like, I have my holy trinity. I got my wine, I got my water, and I got my coffee. Whatever happens, I'm prepared.
Listen, she prepared, y'all. So let's just see what we can make happen over here. So, Addie, tell us a little bit about you outside of the literary world, because we're going to get all up in your literary business in a few minutes, because we're trying to figure out what she did in the pandemic. #1. Oh, girl. So we're trying to figure all that out. So let us know a little bit about a day in the life of Miss Addie Woolridge. It's like a fancy name, Woolridge. Okay.
I know. I sound fancy. And then I feel bad for people who meet me and they're like, why are you always in your sweats? Like, try a little harder. And I'm like, I misled you. I'm really a scrub. That was really a fabulous introduction to me. Let's see. So, day in the life of Addie Woolridge. I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington. Lived there until I was 18 years old. Then I moved to LA for college. I went to USC, woo, Trojans. And I lived there for about 11 years and then moved up to the Bay Area. Let me think. Outside of writing, who am I? I have a degree in opera. I am a recovering opera singer, I guess we can say.
See, and there we go. That's what I was waiting on.
I was like, I'll just slide it in there like it's real normal.
Right, you're right. But I'm on it. You know, my whole journalist stuff and the skills, like, there go say, Addie. You are like a great girl. What they say for the opera singers who are just like, you know, up there, what they call the best,
a diva,
the divas. Not, you know, you're not a diva, but like you're well known, very classically trained. Like you are, you are an opera singer.
I am. I am a classically trained opera singer.
Addie, what in the hell? So listen.
First of all, real random.
First of all, what we gotta do to get you to sing a note for us? Second of all, girl, how you get what? You just at home singing one day and was like, I'm gonna do opera. How, honey?
This is the most random story. Actually, it relates to writing too. So I have a learning disability. It's basically dyslexia. And my sister and I are only 15 months apart. We're really, really close in age. And so we used to do our homework together.
Me and my brother, we call each other ghetto twins.
Yes, that's essentially like, bless my poor mother. Like, she really loved us. Like, she did not deserve. So my sister and I are super close in age. We went to school together. For all intents and purposes, we kind of function like twins. And my parents sort of figured out that, like, they're like, why she's not reading very well, and the other one reads really, really well. Something's going on. And so eventually they had me tested, probably around the 3rd or 4th grade, and they realized that I had a learning disability, and they didn't want me to feel bad about myself, which, joke's on them. I have way too much self-confidence to do that. But they really were concerned about it. So they were like, we need to give her a hobby, something that she could be good at. And they went to the school administrator and my little choir teacher at the time. Shout out Sandy Anderson. My elementary school music teacher said, I think she can carry a tune. And my parents aren't musicians. They can't carry tunes at all. So my dad went to work and he asked around and asked if anybody knew of a children's choir. And someone was like, oh yeah, my kid's in a children's choir. And it ended up being like a semi-professional touring children's choir that I auditioned for. Which exposed me to classical music. So I got into classical music. Every summer you would go on tour, maybe to Europe or somewhere in the States and sing. And then I think in high school, I started singing independently outside of a choir. And I found that I really liked it. And I liked the challenge of singing in foreign languages. I thought that was really cool. Obviously, my definition of what's cool is a little weird. And from there, I thought, I wonder if I could get into college doing this. And I didn't realize how competitive it was, but I got in, and that's, what I got my degree in.
So wait, so you went to school on a singing scholarship?
Yeah, those exist. Although I think they probably gave me money for halfway decent grades, or they were just like, there are exactly 3 Black opera singers in the whole wide world.
They got them. They're like, yo, we got some good here.
We found a unicorn. Joke's on, actually, you know what? There were 2 others in my year who were super good as well.
Really?
There was one guy and then another woman who was a soprano with this massive, huge voice. I swear she could fill up all of LA with her voice. It was so big. And I was like, you're the first other ones I've ever met. We could form a club.
Did you guys?
We did. It was an informal club that my best friends and I named Browns at Thornton, which we called ourselves Bat. And we wanted to get T-shirts made with just a bat on the front. But we were like, that might scare people off. Just a pack of POCs with carrying bats.
Amazing. That's great. When I read that, I was like, what? So why opera though? Because I'm sure you could have sung anything. Yeah. Why opera?
At the time, my university didn't have a pop music program. And they did have a jazz program. And I actually, in high school, I would work in a jazz bar. I would sing jazz standards on Tuesday nights. And I was allowed to be in the bar as long as my dad came with me. Bless my dad. He came to every single bar. And you made friends with the bouncers and they'd be like, okay, you know where you have to sit, and you know when it's your turn. And as long as your dad's here. So I probably could have auditioned for that. But I think when I was looking at the audition requirements for classical music, I think I was like, you know what? I think I'm better prepared to be a classical musician because everyone thinks, I'm ready to sing in French at the drop of a hat. And so it just seemed like an easier audition.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So easier audition. I get it. So you went into writing, but have you done an album though? A classical album? Have you ever wanted to do that?
Not, I haven't. You record your, they're called recitals in the classical music world. So you record your recitals. So I have those recorded. And you end up, part of being a classical musician in college is you work. So you're on other people's recordings and things like that. So I never actually thought, I should record my own series of recitals. Also, opera singers don't really mature, quote unquote, mature until they're like in their mid 30s. So nobody really wants a recording of a 20 something singing. They're like, ooh, that sounds like a young opera singer. Give her 10 years.
And then come back. And then she is. Oh my God.
My mom would buy that album, but that's about it.
That is crazy. So, Addie, what do we have to do to get you to sing a little something for us? Do we need to have us a private concert? Like, what we need to do?
I will come back and we will do a private concert. I will like prepare and warm up so that my voice doesn't sound like I've been drinking wine, which it is the case. That is not a full glass that's left. I may as well just be honest about my situation.
Listen, that's all we want to put. Like I told you, we up here. Cheers.
I wish I thought to put mine in a coffee mug, but true story, I have my coffee mug in a portable wine glass as well. So like this is coffee. And then I was like, the thing that would have kept my wine cold has coffee in it.
See?
So
you gotta get on it. Everybody, they all know me. And then I drink a lot. So all my drinks in a coffee cup. You don't know what I'm drinking. You don't never know what I'm drinking. You know what I'm saying? It's all these brown book series. All the books was binding in brown. You don't know what you're reading. You don't know what I'm drinking. All you know is Shay's drinking.
He has something. You don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is. Oh my God. And speaking of what it is, Addie, we need to know. First of all, we got that settled, y'all. She gonna come back. We're gonna do a private little concert, and she gonna do the songs related to her books. Because Addie, you hit the scene this year. Mm-hmm. This year? Last year?
Yeah, this year.
No, this year. And you already are Amazon's #1 bestselling author. Now check this out. First of all, you and this writing, right? What made you decide to become a romance author at that? And like, why now? Why would this year you was like, you know what made you say, let me go ahead and get this published, get this out here, and let me just do the damn thing. I don't care if it's in the middle of a pandemic. I'm about to write me a book and get it published. Well, why romance and why? We need to know why. What happened?
So what had happened was, how did I get into writing? So when I was living in LA, everybody and their mother wants to be like a screenwriter or something. And I'd been friends with these people who I thought were, again, really cool. My definition of cool, questionable. One of them has a PhD in folklore and is a professor. Another is like an artist architect. So she builds like large scale art installations. And they came to me and they're like, we want to form a writer's group. Do you write? And at the time I did not write. And I said, I write like nonfiction for my job. And they were like, well, that works. You can join us. So for 4 months, I sat in on their writer's group, and every single month or like every week, people would bring in their little 10 pages of whatever they were working on, their script or their novel or something. And I would just like quietly read it and like give feedback. And I was like, this is so much fun. I love this. And I guess they forgot that I didn't really write fiction, because at the end of, I think it was like the 4th month or something, the woman who was leading it turns to me and she's like, Addie, we never get to your pages. We always run out of time. We're going to start with you next time. And I was like, no, they're going to find out that I'm not really a writer and I'm not going to be. And I was like, no. So I leave the writer's group and I call my sister and I was like, Coco, oh no, these people think I'm a writer, but like I'm not. And what am I going to do? And she's like, well, girl, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I think the best thing you can do is ghost them, because you're not a writer. And I was like, well, but they're my friends. I like them. I think they're super cool. I want to stay friends with them. And she's like, I think you should just never answer their calls again. I was like, okay, well, that's maybe bad advice. So then I called my mom. I was like, thanks, Cokes. And I called my mom and I was like, Mom, what do I do? And she goes, okay, it has to be 10 pages, but it doesn't have to be good, does it? And I was like, no. She's like, well, could you make up 10 pages of something? And I was like, if it's double spaced, I think I could. And she was like, okay, well, just do that. And then, 4 months from now, maybe you make up another 10 pages. You could just totally lie about it. It'll be fine. So I made up the first 10 pages and I was like, this is really fun. I sent it to my sister to see if she would read it. She didn't. And I brought it to the writers group and they were like, this is really good. You should keep writing. And I ignored them. And then about a month later, my sister sent me an email and she's like, hey, did you still need me to read this? Because this is pretty good. Like, you could finish it. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I ignored that too. And then my mom read it and was like, hey, you should finish this. Like, I think it's really good. So I did. And I fell into being a romance novelist because the first 10 pages that I made up were sort of like romance novel-y. They were very like storytelling, talky, sort of how I talk is how I write. So it just fit.
I absolutely love it. Now, Addie, your debut novel was called The Checklist. Mm-hmm. Girl, tell us a little bit about The Checklist without giving too much of a spoiler for the ones who haven't read it yet. Mm-hmm. But after this, they're going to go get it. So tell us a little bit about The Checklist.
Sure. So The Checklist is sort of a humorous retelling of the Hatfields versus the McCoys is the way that I like to think about it. The story centers on Dylan Delacroix, who's a type A corporate consultant who lives in Texas, and she thinks she's got the perfect boyfriend with the perfect life, and everything's great until she accidentally upstages her temperamental boss, and she kind of gets sent on this career-killing mission that is inconveniently located in her hometown of Seattle. And even worse, she's been asked to stay with her kind of chaotic bohemian family who has this long-standing feud with the neighbors across the street. So that's where we meet her, and surprise, the neighbor's son is hot.
And it was crazy. So, you know what? How did you come up with this type of storyline?
So
was it from the readers group again? What is it?
No, this one, my family is a joke that, or actually we all kind of joke that we're like heathens or hedonists. Like, we're kind of the weird family on the block. And so I think I was home visiting my parents and I was like, we did have a really normal set of neighbors that my parents thought were really strange. And I was like, what if we had a really bad feud with our neighbors? Like, what would that look like? And I started to kind of play with that idea. My parents are not artists at all, but they are like, we're the weird family on the block, you know, like the family that we have outdoor speakers that we forget to turn off, or we're always making noise. We did not have bedtimes growing up, which wasn't a bad thing, but I think was unusual to a lot of people. My parents didn't want to fight with us, so they were like, fine, be tired, learn to self-regulate, we don't care. I love it. So that was where it came from. It was just a lot of like weird little things that I was like, what would happen if, I wonder, what would, and it became The Checklist.
Yeah, it became The Checklist. Now, naming it The Checklist, why The Checklist?
Because the protagonist really loves her lists. It's how she makes sense of sort of chaotic or stressful times. Originally, I had a lot more listing in there, and I was like, nobody wants to read somebody's to-do list. It's stressful, so I kind of took it out.
It's funny though.
I was like, her lists are funny, and like I relate to them a little bit in that, you know, like when you don't keep lists when you're stressed out. I thought everybody did.
No.
Mine are written in like pink marker and they have washi tape and they make me happy.
Are you serious?
Yes. I thought everybody did that.
Look, my family was the weird family on the block too. And we didn't do that.
You didn't take listing away from that?
It's crazy though, because I have everything around me, but okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. But I would not, for the life of me, write it down. If I write it down, I forget. I don't know. I forget it.
It leaves your brain. I feel like, I don't know if my siblings make lists or not. I think they just sort of like revel in the various chaos of things. For me, I'm like, if I make a list, I won't forget anything. I know my mom makes lists, but they're lists of things she's already done so she can check them off and feel immediately accomplished, which I'm not sure how this works. Sorry, Ma. I know you're going to listen to this later. I still love you. I shouldn't have told you.
Mom. Right. You're right. Okay. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Me and the list, I just be like, I need to get my life together. That's what it is. Because even with my crew that works with me, they will send me a whole list of to do. Be like, Shay, check it off. And I just be like, yeah, but when looking, it stresses me when I see the list. I think that's what I stress. When I see a list, I'm like, oh hell no. But if I'm just like flowing, like, oh, I need to do this. Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. Somebody else needs to get the list. That makes sense. I'm like, yeah, because as soon as they be like, Shay, can you? I'll be like,
oh no. I'm one of those people that like on personality tests, I can't believe I'm telling you this. On personality tests, I test like a little tiny like Machiavelli where I am all about like order and getting things done and there's nothing in between. So there are other people who are like, let's explore the details. Let's make friends. I'm like, here's the idea and here's how we execute. Checklist? Do you see the list? I need you to get that done. Okay, go.
Okay.
And I was like, and so every time I'm in a situation where they're like, let's take a personality test. I'm like, I'd rather we not. I don't need people knowing this about me. It's embarrassing. No, thank you.
It's not. You're welcome. That's what we do. In Brown Book Series, we get it all out of you. And we're going to help you overcome that, okay? We're going to help you overcome that. It's going to be cool. Addie, the latest release, The Bounce Back.
Yes.
Girl, tell us a little bit about The Bounce Back.
All right. So The Bounce Back kind of picks up the story of Neil, who's Dylan's little sister. So Neil Delacroix is an aspiring artist. And she's talented, but undercommitted. And so she gets kind of the opportunity of a lifetime and is asked to join a very prestigious art collective and literally sets her career on fire, more or less making her unhireable. And about the same time, her it's bad. I feel bad that I did that to her.
That was crazy. I was like, dang. I was
like, let's open with a bang. Just fireworks. Anyway, so that happens, and then her parents kind of gently say, like, hey girl, you need to move on with your life. And her boyfriend not so gently breaks up with her, and she takes all of this kind of badness as a sign that she needs to give up dating, she needs to get her life together, she needs to get a normal job and give up on art because she's just not cut out for it. And so she manages to get herself a 9-to-5 at a greeting card company, where she realizes that even doing a job that doesn't seem like her calling is difficult. And she kind of has to decide who she wants to be, if she wants to be kind of her dream self or if she wants to be the safe version of herself. And of course, at work, she meets somebody.
And then it went from there. I absolutely love it. Now, when I was reading your book, it reminds me, because I don't know, a lot of authors, they may not have the same writing style, but like because I've interviewed so many, their personality or their cadence or they remind me of each other, kind of, that makes sense. And when I reading your story and just talking to you, I'm like, and even reading your book, even the cover, I was like, you remind me so much of Denise Williams. Denise
high praise.
Yes, How to Fail at Flirting. She is just like uber sweet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some people are, oh man, she real sweet, but it just, and it's a difference. So Denise Williams giving me that Kennedy Ryan sweet. And you now give me, that's the kind of sweetness I get from you. I get that Kennedy Ryan, Denise Williams sweetness going on.
I was like, oh, that's like such high praise. I'm done for the day. I can just like
they are like beautiful. You have so many people that are just like beautiful people or amazing people, but the spirit of those two are just I mean, and there's a lot more too, but just right off the bat, just by looking and talking to you, I'm like, yeah, because they just, it's a different type of sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like the church. It's a sweet spirit. And, you know, it's really cool. You're like, oh, okay, that's what's up. So I absolutely love that. So The Bounce Back. Now, are you traditionally published, or are you okay? You're traditional. Who are you with?
I am with Montlake. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how hard was it for you to get published?
I think the hardest thing was finding an agent. I got really lucky in that my agent was able to sell my first book. Shout out
So you got an
Nalini.
agent first, and
Yeah.
then oh, that was
Yeah.
smart. Did you research that? Did someone tell you to do that? Like, how did that go?
So I researched it a little bit. I'd finished a draft of the manuscript and I was like, well, I'm bad at quitting things. So like once I start a thing, I have to see it through. And I remember my sister being like, I know you're going to get published someday because you literally can't quit. Bad boyfriends, it doesn't matter. Bad jobs, can't quit.
Oh.
Anything I start, I finish. I have to. I'm like compelled. So I just want to know if I could finish a book. But then once I finished the book, I was like, could I publish a book? I wonder. And so I ended up Googling how to publish a book, and the internet told me to join RWA, and this was before all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, and by good stuff, I mean, it was shit. I said that. Anyway, I stand by it. Anyway.
Woo, it was a mess. Now listen now. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was a hot ass mess. My
they
girl
might get themselves together, and if
my girl RWA, she's over there. Yeah, she's over there now trying to get together for us. She's trying to get together for us.
I mean, I don't belong anymore, but like if you still belong, fight the good fight. Keep it up. I believe in you. If anybody's going to affect change, it's you. Good luck. That's my pitch to aspiring authors. So I joined RWA, and I was like, I don't know if my book qualifies as a romance. I don't know, like, if I belong. And who was sitting at the reception table? Rachel Herron. And what is her pen name? Sophie Grant, I think, is her pen name. And they're both like these badass women, and they had like purple hair and these amazing tattoos that covered their whole body. And like, I don't look like that. I'm not cool. I was like, and they were like, no, you belong. Come in. And so the people who belong to my local chapter, the chapter no longer is part of RWA, but I'm still friends with all those people. They really helped me think about, okay, how do you get an agent? How do you do that? And so I actually pitched in person at the RWA conference in New York. And I got really lucky that they took pity on me because I'm pretty sure I admitted to my agent that I spelled my name wrong on the SATs. So like that was not a promising start. And I might have said that I was wearing an adult onesie because I forgot the name of a romper. So like I didn't, luckily she still took me on. Again, thanks Nalini. So they encouraged me to pitch. I was like so nervous. I was like, I don't think I'm going to go in that room. I can't do it. I changed my mind. And Rebecca Hunter and Alice Gaines were also at the conference, and Rebecca was like, no, you're going to walk in there now. You're going to pitch. You're not like blowing you this opportunity. I will be standing outside of this door when you come back, and we'll go get some chocolate. And I was like, okay. And sure enough, she was standing there when I walked out. I was like, I told them I have a onesie and but you know what? Thanks to them, I got an agent.
How about that? Okay. So it was like a couple good things came out of being a part of RWA.
Yeah, which, like it was kind of heartbreaking then because I think I signed with my agent and then all the shenanigans happened. So I didn't even like get to come back and be like, wow, thanks everyone. I came back like boiling mad where I was like, this is supposed to be my party. How dare they do this to me? And then like on the side, I was like, also I got an agent.
You know what I'm saying? Well, once they, like I said, LaQuetta's over there. She go get it back together. Once they do, then you can go back and we can have a belated debut novel party.
It'll be like a family reunion where I'll be like, oh, I found my family. I'm back.
Yeah, that was a shit show. I was like, oh Jesus, help God! All right,
you can read the NPR article or listen to it. Ooh, that was good. It was bad.
I know it was totally bad. Like I said, I was just like, Lord, the struggles of it all. Yeah. So, Addie, it brings us to our first segment here at the Brown Book Series, and this segment is called the Dirty Mind Game.
Oh, I love it.
Well, we give you clues. We'll give you dirty clues. You gotta give us the clean answer.
Oh, okay. This game is harder than I anticipated. I haven't heard the clues yet, but I already know that I struggle.
Right, because we already know the dirty answers. We made up the dirty ones.
Do we though? Because romance authors can do some fabulous things.
They really can, and they all got a dirty mind. It's a mess. All right, so I'm going to give you the clues, and you let me know. You give me the clean answers. I had to put my glasses on so I can see this. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Like spiritually prepared.
Yeah. Okay. This is gonna be good for your spirit right here. Check this out. Okay. What am I? I'm a 4-letter word. I end in UCK. If I'm good, everybody wants me. What am I?
Are you duck?
I am not duck, but that is a good one. I am luck.
I was like, wait, I love duck.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm too lazy to cook it myself, but when I see it on a menu.
Let me tell you, I ate duck for the first time maybe a few years ago. And yeah, that's what I said. It was a different type of taste that I loved.
Mm-hmm. It's a spiritual awakening duck where you're
like, it is. Yeah. That duck with Daffy, who I ate, like I'm telling you, that duck was awesome.
It's like better chicken. It really is. Because it's not dry. It's like the darkest dark meat on the chicken. It's just delicious.
It's so delicious. I know. I was like, yo, you could actually make dressing out of this type of chicken. And it's the okay. Okay, here we go. All right, next up.
Wait, you're gonna tell me what it is?
It's luck.
Oh, okay. Well, that too.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that word. I straight was like, it's duck.
Right.
The opposite answer is food.
With the duck. Hilarious. Okay, next up. If you follow me, you'll find my pole. I always point up. I sit on top of your globe. What am I? If you follow me, you said what?
Is it north?
It's north.
Yes. Oh,
okay. Yes, north and not North Kardashian. This okay, cool. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
You're doing great. You're doing great. I'm a form of oral intercourse. Some people do me with their hands. Some do me to themselves. I'm a form of oral intercourse. Some people do me with their hands. Some do me to themselves.
Is it talking or speech?
It's talking, girl, because I would put like, what is this? It's talking. Oh my God.
I feel like, in The Hobbit when they have to answer the riddles for Gollum. That's what I feel like right now. Like I might get out of here with some sort of sacred ring situation that I have to destroy and bring doom upon the earth. So actually, maybe I don't want to be good at this game.
You know what? The struggles of it all. This is so freaking good, though. Okay. You ready? Give you a few more. Go, Addie. Addie hooking it on up. Okay. Check this out. Duck. You said what?
Still mad about duck.
Yeah, but listen, you can't get them all, even though you got the other two, but you're doing great. See? All right. Next up, 69 is 1. I could keep going forever. You use me to multiply.
69 is 1.
Mm-hmm.
I could go on forever. You use me to multiply.
Uh-huh.
It can't be numbers. It's got to be something more.
Number.
It is
number. Yes, girl.
I was like, well, it's not part of the Fibonacci sequence. I was like, you're making this too complex.
You know what? I absolutely love it. You are the best. You are the absolute best. Okay, last up. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. When you're on top of me, you're eating. I'm long, hang down, and touch your knees. When I'm wrinkled, no one wants to spread me. What am I? Nasty is what you are.
I think the answer is a tablecloth.
Let me tell you something. You are, yes, girl. The answer is a tablecloth. Y'all, Addie does not have a freaking dirty mind. You are my hero, okay? You do not have a dirty mind, and it's awesome.
Thank you. Thank
I love
you.
it. I
I
love
feel like
it.
if people are only listening, they're not going to see me laughing. And I would be very impressed. The people who are like watching and like, I didn't say the first thing that came to mind. And that's the important part.
That
That's
is
what
it.
I want everyone to appreciate what I could have said for all of those things.
They love it. I'm telling you. Those that are looking at your face are like, OMG. They're thinking the same thing we was thinking. Like, what the hell is that, Joe? I absolutely love it. So, Addie, Neil and Dylan
Mhm.
are your female characters. What
Yes.
inspired the name of Neil and Dylan? Because let me tell you something. When I first read it, I was like, okay, I'm reading it. I got to like the second page. I'm like, hold on. So I had to go back. I'm like, did I miss something? Oh no, they girls. Let me figure this thing out. Had to figure out what kind of book this is first. I'm like, okay, no, this is a straight book. Okay, so I was like, how? So what inspired the names of Neil and Dylan for your female characters?
Good question. So this is very roundabout. So I wanted to use the last name Delacroix, and Delacroix is like a small town in Louisiana that randomly pops up in a Bob Dylan song.
Yeah.
For people who aren't familiar with Louisiana, which even if you are familiar with Louisiana, why would you know about Delacroix? And so I was like, what should I name this person if you have Delacroix? And I was like, well, Bob Dylan. Dylan Delacroix.
Yeah. Okay.
And then for Neil, I wanted to honor like Black artists and creators, but I was already working on something with a character named Zora in it. So I was like, well, can't have Zora, but I can use Neil.
Okay, so it didn't even like because they're in all intents purposes male names.
Mm-hmm.
So did you want it to have like a unisex name for them, or that's just like they're girls?
Yeah,
Even
I guess
Dylan is a guy. Even though Dylan can go both ways.
Yeah,
but Neil, I've never met a female named Neil. First name.
You run into a lot of Neils. It wasn't something that I thought long and hard about. It was something that I kind of did on the fly. And then afterwards, someone was like, oh, you have a theme. And I was like, huh, I guess I do. I'll just lean into that one then. Yeah, so I wish you could say it was like more calculating, but it was less calculated than I wanted it to be.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like, well, it is a theme. All right, cool. I love it. Addie, Author's Moments. What's your most urgent priority for the rest of the year in the literary world and in your personal life?
In the literary world, I got a book to finish, so I got to get writing.
You're doing good. You did 2 in 1 year, and one's already a #1 Amazon bestseller.
I know. Well, I don't know this one. I'm not sure when it's coming out yet. So, and I can't tell you anything more about it than that. But it exists and it's coming. Okay. And I think I'm allowed to like hint at that by now.
Yes, yeah.
But I don't know that the Publishers Weekly has gone out. So I guess I'll just keep it to myself and be vague.
I won't get you in trouble.
Yeah, I'll be vague and people can kind of be like, that's obnoxious.
Right. He should be calling both of us like, what? I'm like,
but you don't have to cut that.
you had to cut that. Like, what?
I'm playing it on the wine. Be glad I wasn't drinking hard liquor. So yeah, that's my kind of writing world priority. And then my personal priorities. Gosh, that's like I should have an answer to this question because I listened to the show so many times. Like it's not like I shouldn't have predicted this question. Good job. I guess my most urgent personal priority right now is 1, paying off Sally Mae because she's a demon, and yeah, she's a hater. Well, she rebranded to Navient, and I still hate her. She has not fooled me. I know that she's a demon.
I'm talking about from the pits of hell. You hear me? I'm talking about
cast her out.
I was like, listen, fuck a stimulus check. Getting rid of everybody who has Sally Mae. Just clear the debt. And be like, keep it whatever how much they gave. I didn't get it, but however much they gave, just keep that. And everyone, give it to the people who don't have any
Yeah, I mean, if you don't live with Sally Mae, have
yeah,
your
if you
money.
don't live with Sally, fine. But for those of us who lives with Sally, then let's just give that woman her money. Just pay her off.
Greedy. Like, take your money, Sally.
Baby, she worse than a baby mama, honey. You hear me? Hey, she want all the money, and she is stopping the children from visiting until she gets her money.
She is rude, and I dislike her intensely. She's an uninvited guest. And I got my little book advance, my first one, and I was like, I'm not giving this to Sally. I am not. I will not give it to her. I'm going to do something fun. But then it was a pandemic, and I was like, define fun. What is fun in this context? Give your money to Sally.
Give it to Sally.
So, you know, that money went to wine. That's where it went.
Listen,
and some to Sally.
I was
drinking while I paid her.
Sally is a hater. So yeah, okay. So we're gonna pay off Sally.
Pay off Sally. That's like priority number 1, and then priority number 2. I before the pandemic, I was a marathon runner, so there are some races that I want to run. I need to get back in shape to run because like I'm not one of those people who like stays in marathon shape for funsies. Like no, thank you. So. It's not very fun to be in marathon shape. Being a 6-pack person sucks. It's really boring. You don't have any other hobbies. Like you just run in circles and like run. And like you have to eat a boring diet. No, you can't go to lunch with anybody. Everyone's like, and you're hangry all the time. And like, I am an unpleasant hangry person. Like,
really?
So unpleasant that somebody made me mad the other day. And then they sent me a message and like said this like in the most gentle way. They were like, please don't take this the wrong way. I can't work with you when you're this hungry. Will you please eat a snack? And I was like, yes, I will. I will, because I can't do things when I'm hungry. So like marathon me is not like, as soon as I'm hungry, like you have to feed me. I'm a monster.
Oh, my God. Yeah, we're going to make sure we feed her. You are tripping.
I'm a gremlin.
She's a gremlin. Author's moments. That's a mess. And being a novelist, what did you learn a little too late?
I mean, how much time you got? I think there are a couple.
Hold on, wait. You still new to the game. Don't get in trouble.
Well, let me get another drink. Hold on. So, what did I think, you know, the first thing that I kind of had to learn, it didn't occur to me until literally like my book was out, like the checklist was out on sale. That part of being an author is writing in the creativity bit, but the other part is very much running a business. Like you are running a small business, and it did not hit me until that business was like underway that I needed to, I don't know, get some finance software and figure out websites, get a newsletter together, all that kind of stuff. So I really wasn't set up to necessarily take advantage of my first book launch the way that I think I probably should have been. Like I was able to kind of pull it together, but I definitely didn't think, you are running a small business. Let's go learn all the business things that one needs to know in order to run a business. I was just sort of like, oh, people are buying my book? Oh, shoot. Gotta do that then.
Gotta do that then. I absolutely love it. Author's moments. If you could have a tea with one fictional character of yours, who would it be?
Tea.
Mm-hmm.
This is really hard. Because there are a lot of people I want to have a cocktail with, but I'm like, who do I want to have tea with? That's a different situation.
Yeah, tea is a little more in depth. Tea is you just sitting down and you basically gathering information and just like going. Like,
tea is learning about somebody where you're like, oh. You know, I think I might pick Bernice, the mother in this book. I think I would like to pick Bernice's brain and get to know her.
Yeah.
And she's,
I was thinking Bernice. I'm like, that's who I would sit down with. She's like different.
She's crotchety, but like lovely. And I was like, I think she'd be fun.
she's nice, nasty.
Yeah. I was like, she was fun to write. Like, I loved writing like the opposite of like, I feel like so many books, like moms and books, want to give you just like one more hug. And And I was like,
yeah.
I want to write the opposite of like someone who's pragmatic in their own very strange way. And I was like,
Yes.
I want to have tea with Bernice.
I'm with it. I like Miss Old Bernice. All right, author's moments. If you could sit down with your 15-year-old self, what would you tell her?
Good news, you didn't peak in high school. Sorry.
I love it.
Like,
Okay.
don't worry about all this.
Don't worry about it. Right. It'll be all right. Don't worry about all that.
Yeah, like none of this matters. As little as I thought it mattered in high school, because I was definitely like Kat Stratford from 10 Things I Hate About You was like partially my personality. So like I didn't care a lot what anyone thought anyway, but like it would have been reassuring to know you're probably right about this.
I love it. Absolutely love it. All right. What would your pen name be?
If my pen name were my current pen name?
So so your current name is your pen name. How did you come up with this pen name?
So I got signed by my agent and she was like, I want to take your book out now. Like, I need to know what name you want to be called. And my little sister had decided that she was going to throw me a surprise for getting signed by an agent, my book going out. And she's a PhD student, so she didn't have any money. So she stole like some leftover cookies from a Christmas party and some like leftover Baileys. And we went to my office's coffee machine and got some free coffee. And then we dumped our little Baileys in our cups and just sat on like the couches after hours, like drinking Baileys and coffee and eating cookies. And we were trying to think of a name, and we like went through all of these radical Black abolitionists, and they're all named things like Harriet. Which, bad news, I am not nearly old enough to be a Harriet. We're like, hey, that's not going to work. So we started thinking about it, and we were like, okay, well, what about family names? And my dad had recently sent us this like ridiculous family email, but it did have the names, like it was one of those like family tree kind of emails. And someone had been able to trace our family back to basically the first people who had received their freedom. So Addie Woolridge is the name of my grandmother's grandmother, and she was the first woman in my family to receive her freedom. She was born enslaved and was, I think, emancipated when she was maybe somewhere between 6 months old and 2 years, depending on how you look at so that is my name. And we're like, okay, well, it's meaningful in the sense that literacy would have been denied her. It was an act of rebellion for Black people. And I actually believe it's still an act of rebellion. I very much think it is an act of self-definition and an act of rebellion to read, particularly reading as a Black American. And so I figured if words had been denied her, at least I could make good use of them and honor her legacy. So yeah.
That is so freaking cool. But did you ever question why you needed a pen name, or you was okay with getting one?
I kind of heard through the grapevine, get a pen name, just because weirdos are out there basically. And there were enough weirdos sort of hanging around that I was like, I do not want people like finding me and like calling my office or something and like being strange or creepy. And so I was like, okay, this is like just that little barriers for my own mental health as much as like, if a weirdo really wants to find you, they're going to find you, but like make it a little hard for them.
Yeah, I get it. I understand that. All right. That's what's up. Yeah. All right, author's moments. If you could master any instrument on earth, what would it be?
Master. I play a couple instruments, but I feel like what?
Sorry, I forgot who I was talking to. Amy is a classically trained opera singer who sings in different languages. Yeah, she's in different languages, y'all. She plays all. So yeah, out of all the instruments, first of all, what all do you play?
I only play two instruments. I play the piano and I play the guitar. In theory, you could play other string or key instruments.
Right.
Like I could learn to play the ukulele fairly easily or the bass or something. My best friend is a violist. I don't think I could do that. Yeah, she's a badass. Hey, Ashley. She's so cool. But you know what? I would like to learn to play. How do you like me now, Ma? When I was going into the 6th grade, I wanted to join band. And bear in mind, I was like maybe 70 pounds. I was real little. And I wanted to learn to play the tuba. And my mom looked at me and she said, 1, no, that instrument sounds like farting. 2, none of the cool kids are in band. And so she didn't let me join band. I took home ec.
Really?
Yeah.
Mom was like,
jokes on her because I did not become a cool kid.
Yeah, Mom was like, you're not gonna be spending my money on a tuba that you're not gonna play. Forget that.
She was like, what you won't do is do that. So I feel like if I could master any instrument, I would learn to play the tuba.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, let's see here. Author's moments. What's the one dream that you tucked away?
You know, the one thing that I didn't get to do in college that I regret, my major was pretty demanding. So if you wanted to study abroad, you had to add a 5th year. And I was like, well, no. What I won't be doing is paying Sally money so I can go live in Europe or wherever. And I think that is my one regret, is not having lived abroad. So I hope someday in the near future that I will just go live abroad, because it is the one thing that I haven't done that I wish I had done.
Okay. All right. Last up, what are you amazingly good at?
Amazingly good at?
Amazingly good at.
That's a really hard question because I like kill plants. I'm not like that like bless the people when the pandemic started, I had my day job, and like bless the people who kept the plants alive in the office. Somebody had given me a plant like 2 days before the pandemic. Otherwise it would have died. Right. But the pandemic ends and like, you want to get your stuff? And I was like, yes. And they kept that plant alive. And I was like, I wish you hadn't, because now I'm just going to murder it. And I feel so guilty. Like I look at that plant, I'm like, I know you're on borrowed time. I'm sorry. I apologize up front. I feel like I'm killing the friendship too. I was like, I'm sorry.
Listen. I'm
so
the same way. Yeah, my aunt comes and give me all these plants from my auntie. We're not. Yeah.
No, I don't want my sister to go out of town once, and she left all of her orchids at my house, and they were stressing me out. I couldn't like emotionally handle them. I followed the rules, but one of the leaves was looking a little weird on one of them. The day she got back, I literally strapped them into the passenger seat of my car and drove them to her house. And I was like, take them away. I don't want to be responsible for this. It's too much pressure. I can't. She was like, it's no big deal, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want to. So anyway, that's what I'm not good at. What am I good at? Okay. I'm actually pretty good at languages. That's a thing that I have a good ear for them. I'm not a great spelling them out. I'm not great at, but I can pick up accents and how languages operate fairly easily. So
okay, look at you. Oh, linguistic kind. Okay, works for me. Dead or alive. If you were hosting a dinner party and could invite 5 people from any era, who would it be?
Who would I invite? 5 people. I mean, I almost feel like I need to have separate tables because I was like, do you want to laugh or what do you want to do here? I probably want to invite Ma Rainey. I think that'd be really interesting. Or Memphis Minnie. One of those two I think would be fascinating. If you're not familiar with Memphis Minnie, not you, but listener, other people. She's one of the people who originally recorded When the Levees Break, which Led Zeppelin would make a big hit. And she's an early rock and roll star. Anyway, so maybe I go with Memphis Minnie. Okay, so that's one. I probably want to Du Bois maybe would be one. Maybe no, I don't want to say that. Change my mind there. This is like so hard for me. Like, it's not like you asked me, I have to marry these people
It
afterwards.
should
Like,
be easy for you because you listen to the show. You know I'm an ask.
I know, and I like really didn't prepare. I was like, well, who knows? Because sometimes the questions are different. And then I just went into it like, I don't know. How could I have predicted this question? We just don't know.
We just don't know.
We just don't know. I probably, John Lewis recently passed, and I'd probably like to be able to sit down with him as well.
So you got 3, you get 2 more.
Yeah, those 3. Let me look at my bookshelf. Like, who else is up here? I want to know. Probably like Bruce Lee. I would want to know. I would want to have, right? Don't you want to know? I was like, I have questions for you. Also, you shaped my entire childhood. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
My God, I saw home videos of him. I was like, yeah, I would do him.
I was like, I like literally grew up on all things Bruce Lee. I don't know what that says about my parents, but like to this day, Enter the Dragon is a comfort movie for me.
Yes, girl.
There's like blood and gore, and I'm like, yes, this is comforting. Yes, just wash over me. Like someone asked about the mirror scene, and I was like, I could talk about that for 5 minutes.
Let me tell you something. Yes, I'm with you on that. Yes,
it's like probably him, and then I'm trying to think of like who else would I want to have a conversation with? Well, I guess I could have Memphis, or I guess I could have Ma Rainey too, because that's 5. So I didn't have to choose between her and Memphis Me. I can have 2 musicians. I can do what I want. How do you like me now?
It's your dinner. It's your party.
I know, because I was like, maybe I should pick like Major Taylor or like some of these other people. And then I was like, no, this is my party. I don't need to invite other people. This is good.
You are good. I love it. Addie, it brings us to our last question here in the interview. And first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. This is fun. I was like, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it too. This is awesome. So let everybody know before we ask our last question of the interview, let everybody know all things Addie, where we can find your books, all your social media handles, and all the other good stuff.
So website's addiewoolridge.com. Easy enough. I'm pretty much Addie Woolridge on all the social medias. I'm on Facebook, on Twitter at Addie Writes, on Instagram at Addie Woolridge. You can get my books just about anywhere that fine books are sold. Although with the paper shortage, I've had readers reach out to me and say that their book is on back order. So yeah, hang in there. I'm really sorry. In fact, I think my author copies, they haven't come yet, but they should be here today. So I too don't know what my final book looks like. I only have my arcs. So yeah, but you can, I think the Kindle obviously is on Amazon. You can get that. But if you want a paper copy, it's just about anywhere. I don't know if the Rip Bodice still has signed copies of the checklist, but they did. So if you are looking indie, the Rip Bodice, or Bookshop for any of the indies.
Yeah, Bookshop is. I absolutely love it. Addie, last question. If you were writing a book about your life, what would the title be?
One of my favorite pastimes is titling my memoirs. Like, I never remember the title. Like, I just say weird things. I'm like, that's the title of my memoir. And someone that I work with recently was like, so when does your memoir come out? And I was like, what memoir? And they were like, the memoir you keep titling? And I was like, oh, no, that's not a memoir. There is no memoir. And they were like, but I was prepared to read it. You titled them all the time. I assume those were chapter titles. I was like, no, it's just, I'm exceedingly strange and I title my memoirs all the time. I feel like, what was the most recent one? So many good ideas and none of them are mine. The Addie Woolridge story.
Really?
What was the other day my sister and I came up with, because I was trying to understand like film rights and other things you don't realize you need to know. And I was like, I kind of want to call some of my friends who are producers in LA, but it's tacky to call them and say, do you know what's happening to me? Like, do you want me? And if not, can you tell me what's happening? Because I'm confused. Like, that would be my memoir and the subtitle. Like, do you want me? And if not, can you tell me what's happening? Because I'm confused.
Oh my God. I love it. I'm telling you. Because when you're in a different genre, it's a little different. You be like, okay, what? I don't know. Like, can you help? And if
Yeah,
they're
I
your
was like,
friends, they should help. Should.
yeah, like I'm confused. The Addie Woolridge story. Like
I absolutely love it. Brown Book Series, please give a round of applause for Amazon's #1 best-selling author, Miss Addie Woolridge. Thank you so much for coming on, Addie.
Thank you so much for having me. This is just so much fun.
Oh my God. All right, hold 1 second for me. I am Brown Bookers. If you liked the interview, and I know you did, I just know you did, please like and subscribe and share. Let everybody know 6 o'clock on Wednesdays, the Brown Book Series is here. Okay, y'all know the routine. At 6 o'clock, we're right here with me in the Brown Book Series every Wednesday. And then at 7 o'clock, we'll go over to Reese Ryan's channels for Author Behind the Pages. After we leave Reese at 7, 8 o'clock, we cruise on over to Cruise Radio to be with Iris Boland for Iris Moments. All right, that's how we get down on Wednesdays. Make sure you check out Sarah McLean's Fated Mates. Her podcast, Fated Mates, is also drops on today. All right, I want to thank Miss Addie Woolridge again for joining us. And I see you guys next week. Make sure you go check out the Raw Experience Brown Book Series website and click Raw, R-R-A-W, tab at the top, or go straight to the website itself. RawExperience.com. It's R-R-A-W, experience.com. This is a conference you do not want to miss. All right, y'all. See y'all next week. God bless.
Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you, it's for us. The fantasies, no one can judge us, no one can judge us. This is for us. Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you.
Brown Book Series presents Raw Romance Readers and Writers Experience. Save the date, October 28th and 29th, 2022. Brown Book Series presents Raw Romance Readers and Writers Experience, October 28th and 29th, 2022. At the Westin Old Town, Alexandria, featuring some of your favorite romance authors: Brenda Jackson, Beverly Jenkins, Iris Boland, Deborah Fletcher Mello, and so much more. The Raw Experience will include book signings, meet and greet, photo ops, vendors, shopping, surprise celebrity guests, and live performances. Registration is wide open at brownbookseries.com. Save the date, October 28th and 29th, 2022. Brown Book Series presents RRR